That good stuff. Look, family, one thing I can say is this. It's a beautiful thing to see everybody in the room, for one. You guys could have been anywhere else, done anything different. I got black talents here, brothers here from a different level, man. But the main thing that's important to me is I see youth as well as elders. I'm going to open up by talking about growth. When I first started, my name is Brother DK, National Minister of Defense for New Black Panther Party. I started out a youth in some trouble. When I joined this organization, I was a youth in some trouble. When I say I was in some trouble, I didn't know who I was. Couldn't even place me nowhere in Africa in the same spoon bowl of cereal. I ain't trying to hear knowledge of self. I was rejecting that and running from that, so that was trouble. You know what I mean? If you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going. You know what I mean? And you don't even know the power that you have to even get to where you need to be. So I was lost. I was lost. Being lost, I met a lot of different people on my journey. Knowing it but not knowing it. Dr. Safishi, I look at as a mother on different levels. I wish she'd do a little bit more whooping, but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. I looked at the work that some of the elders around me have supported, and not even knowing they was being supportive of that work. People that continue to struggle. When I say continue to struggle, I remember when Sister Quayte and Brother Nat'l was over on Jefferson, and it's been in my hood forever. I had passed by this building and just thought it was a trinket shop. I didn't know what it was. I had nothing to know there was that much power behind those little walls over there. And the first time I went in and talked to Brother Nat'l, I found out that wasn't just no old guy selling some artifacts. This was somebody who had some knowledge behind their brain. And this man was a soldier, you know. Tell me, we call them war stories, but that brother was a fighter. Nat'l was a rider. I saw myself, if I got a little older, and if I matured myself, I saw where I could be. On top of getting there, I met some brothers who lined me up. Hashim Nzinga is one of the brothers who helped line me up. Finding out that the brother was from Dallas, had been in Dallas, and had the Mayat think tank here, I wondered, you know, why wasn't I involved in a lot of this stuff growing up? Is because people didn't expose me to it in my community. And I respect everybody in these walls because the stuff that you take out of here today and the things that you take out along the journey, you plant seeds and you develop and help other people. It's been almost 17 years, 16 to 17 years going on, working on 20, that I've been in this organization. I continue to grow throughout some struggles. I mean, attitude, anger, discipline issues, and a lot of stuff, but the work for the people still has to be done. It still needs to be done. It needs to be done on a different level. I mean, we put the guns down to pick up the books and the knowledge, but sometimes you got to pick different things up. And the collective work that we can do together is one thing that is going to keep us fighting a little bit harder than our enemy. And we got to whoop that first enemy. And that first enemy is us as a people. We got to put aside all differences. I mean, ideologically, we're going to see things differently. I mean, you got to realize we come from the land where you got everything. Everything was originated there. So all sources of everything came from us. So we're not going to see this on the same path collectively, but when it comes to those youth, I mean, we can reach them in different ways. You know what I mean? Somebody planted a seed and dealt with me, and look where I'm at. Look where we at. But before I get, as I end, let me say this. Brother Hashim has been working on some great stuff. First, the enemy took me out the game and took me out the mix for a while and threw me behind some bars, which I allowed them to do for a little bit. Threw me behind some bars, and then they came again. They came against my big brother. They took my big brother out the street from us for a while. And when they did it, I'm not sure if any of you guys ever served time, but it's nothing like being behind that wall, knowing that these people got your life in their hands, for one, but we don't lose our mind and we don't give up. When we inside the wall, we continue to build. We make plans for when we come home and when we get out on this ground. And that's what my brother did. That's what my brother did, man. He came on and he made a promise to me in a letter he wrote me when I was in prison. He said, DK, when you was in the gangs, you used your head, you survived. Now that you in the movement, the struggle, you gotta use your head the same way to survive. And I still got that letter, you know what I mean? I still got that letter. He talked about some more stuff that let me know that we gotta build, and I had to get myself right. I had to put a lot of the nonsense down to get right. So it's easy for me to work with anybody, but it's hard for me to look at people and say, hey man, this person is serious, or they're not serious because of trust issues, right? But if you can see the objective and the outcome of people work here, why not continue to grow? And that's one thing I'm working on as a person. But let me stop. Bring up Hakeem and then Hashim coming to the table. Black power.
All right. In the name of Almighty God, to whom all praises are due, is indeed a blessing as well as a privilege to come before you in the spirit of truth. Not my truth, but the truth that Almighty God has blessed us with. I'd like to thank you all for coming and supporting the National. The National is ran by our National Chairman, Dr. and Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. His national representative, our National Chief of Staff, is with us today. Me, I basically feel it's not about I. It's not about we, but it's about he at this time. He's the man of the hour. Since the time of James Byrd that you've seen the new Black Panther Party come in full effect, 22 years later, after the Black Power General has gone, his legal and official representative, our National Chief of Staff, is still here. So you've heard about us, you've seen about what we're doing. The new Black Panther Party just coming out of South Africa, but we went and formed alliances with them. When you see apartheid over there, you see racism, here it's all the same. It's just a different, same flavor with just a different label. We'd like to thank you for taking out your precious time. In the back we have Sister Patricia Allen, the sister who come and merged with us last summer, and we did 3 rallies in one day. We're breaking records and we're still going at it. So sister, thank you for coming, Sister Patricia, and supporting us. Our sister, the heavyweight fighter that's going to be coming out of the new Black Panther Party from Dallas, Texas, Sister Latricia is not with us, her and her husband, but she's coming. We got a heavyweight fighter coming out of Dallas, Texas. The only contender that she have, the Layla Ali, the daughter of the Muhammad Ali. We're going to be pushing up from Dallas, be fighting. We got lots of stuff going on. Our president from our Muslim Student Association, which we're over 250 strong here in the city of Dallas, is not with us, but I'll give you the greetings from him. There are a lot of other things that we are playing, but I made a few mistakes. But I had promised that I wouldn't be long with you, but I would be strong. We'd like to thank God for our National Chairman, Dr. and Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, our brother out of Washington, D.C., who's never lost a case. We'd like to thank his law firm, the Black Lawyers for Justice, who've been movers and shakers. You know, you've heard of a lot of things to be done, but I'll let my brother, who's more educated in the field of education, to teach and treat you to the things that you need tonight. So I like to give him a black hand and ask him to come and speak to you. Our National Chief of Staff, Hashim Nzinga. Our brother, let's give him a black hand.
First, I'd like to give honor to our God and the Creator. And whatever God you choose to serve, we don't get picky. We're not Europeans. So we know something is greater than us, or we wouldn't be here. So I'll first give honor to whatever spirit you serve and I serve equally. It's just a blessing to have a free mind, which frees your soul. And I'm very humble and meek, because the Bible say the meek will inherit the earth. It didn't say heaven. It said the earth. That means right here, right now. That's very important to me. It's so good to be back in Texas. Black Power.
Black Power.
I'm the National Chief of Staff of the new Black Panther Party, under the leadership of Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, our great warrior attorney out of Washington, D.C., who just made it back to Washington from London and from New York, working on the mighty Million Youth March 15th year anniversary, which we will talk about briefly later. I'm so happy to be here. And sister, it just does something to my heart when I get your emails all the time. You are so busy, knowing that your helpmate has made a spiritual transition. Our big brother, Brother Bendeli, who counseled me so many times in my young revolutionary journey. Him and big brother Kwame Ture. really hard for me to get started because my heart feels so good to be here. I want to give thanks to my family, my oldest daughter, who's over at University of Texas, Arlington. And you know, I tell people all over the world, don't judge me, judge me on my babies. I got 5 daughters and a son. All my daughters presidents of their class, straight A students, president lists. We don't play. We don't ask you to do what we're not going to do. This bookstore just won't go away with it. It won't go away with it. God is in the plan. Sister, we love you. And we have to do, brothers and sisters, everything we can do in our power to understand this is real. To understand that this is not make-believe, this is not pop-up happenings. We have to support this system. We have to get some people. If we can't do it, we have to buy some of these beautiful statues off these walls and some of these beautiful paintings off these walls, because black economics has to be at the forefront. I want to say that a lot of you all may know me from MAYA, the Metro African American think tank, which we started here in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, in the Metroplex in the 90s. MAYA meant Metro African American think tank. We put that together with the help of many, many people. Dr. Marvin Delaney, who was a professor at University of Texas at Arlington, Dr. and Miss Ed Sims, just so many people I have to name them. I have to name them for the next 30 minutes. But MAYA, the reason we started MAYA was to provide a new perspective for Africans to understand we had to have a revolution in African spirituality and nationalism, and Afrocentric education, economic development, rebuilding the black community, making a stronger extended family, because it's not just a saying that it takes a village to raise the baby. And as the sister does here every day, make us understand our culture and be conscious of our culture and restructure us in politics. We got a heck of a topic for today, which I'm going to get into in a few minutes, but Brother DK said something that was very important. He said that the enemy snatched me away for some months, 6 months or so, because of a Trayvon Martin incident. And as we know, the Trayvon Martin case is going on right now. And I hadn't went to court yet. Matter of fact, I have to, I'm on probation right now. And I have to get traveling permits to even travel. Because the white man is the white man.
That's right.
And a lot of people say, why are you talking when you ain't went to court yet? Ain't we so foolish?
Yes, sir.
Why wouldn't we talk?
Exactly.
If you're in jail, you're free. If you're standing here, you're free. Because freedom comes from the mind. Freedom is something God gave you when He put the seeds together in your mother's womb, and you came out and they pop you and you scream. That was freedom. And nobody can ever take it away. And I don't give a damn about a DA, a judge, an investigator, and a system that's corrupt anyway. And as we work through different spiritual books, we know there's many people have had their freedom snatched away and have worked from behind bars. So my position on Trayvon Martin is, we given our first Attorney General, Eric Holder, a moment to handle his business. And I got confidence in Attorney General Eric Holder, because the white man is attacking him viciously They have him before the Senate every other day. And he's been a friend of the new Black Panther Party.
That's right.
And so, just to update you on the Trayvon Martin, y'all okay?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna get into this, but it's very important for the young brothers who I see their bright eyes. I used to look just like them. And I got a word or two that made me rise, because I gotta bring up Dr. Khalid Muhammad in a minute.
That's right.
But we'll come back to that. That's a heavy topic. But Trayvon Martin, young life, was taken. And a lot of people were upset, because we always in the new Black Panther Party get the calls and the emails, what about black on black crime? Well, anybody who knows our 20 years of work know that we've been doing gang truths and been in the black community almost every other hour of our lives. But the problem is, when you study black on black crime, and then you study white on black crime, we put up with 600 years of white on black crime. And we can't let it restart. We watched them bomb our churches. We watched them in that same area of Florida. We watched Rosewood in the 30s. We even now watching 42 Jackie Robinson story, and they said they chased Jackie Robinson out of Stanford, Florida. We cannot go back to letting white people kill our babies in broad daylight while they walking home, eating Skittles and drinking tea, talking to their girlfriend on the phone, and their mama's waiting on them to get home. Are we out of our mind? And
Come on now.
when we, as African-American youth, can cross the street at Shells, or cross the street at an Exxon, and get pulled over by some of these Della's pigs and arrested for probable cause because we threw a cigarette down, and they say it was a joint, and they got probable cause. When we can be sitting up smoking tobacco in our car, and they say it was weed, and search the car and arrest us, and it says probable cause. So you got a young 17-year-old child laying in a puddle of blood in his community with some Skittles and a can of tea. And you got a white man standing over him. Probable cause is there. But some people are so silly. They try to play so many games. And for the young people in here, keep it real. Because we're depending on y'all to really carry this. What do they have in track when you pass the? Yeah, that's right. Africans like to talk to each other. Sometimes we elders don't want to give up the baton. We running and we give you the baton and we hold the baton. Let me tell you elders something. If we hold the baton and the young people trying to run with the baton and we drop the baton, then we're disqualified. We gotta let go of the baton and let these young people run this race. We want to talk to them and use them for photo ops, but they're brilliant. But Trayvon Martin, what is the situation with this? They said the Black Panther Party went into Florida and started a bunch of mess. The mess was there when we got there.
Yep.
Plus, we're not foolish. We've been doing this for 23 years. And we're very sophisticated. We got Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz, graduate from Howard University, trained by Dr. Khalid Muhammad and many, many others, which we'll talk about in a minute. We, in the NAACP, they had the Legal Defense Fund. How many people here heard and remember the name Charles Hampton Houston, who taught Thurgood Marshall? And when the NAACP got that branch, and they started suing those crackers for killing and bombing our babies, then it was like the OJ case. They might not get charged for murder, but we would sue them civilly and take their land, take their buildings. Then some of them bagged off somewhat. So with the new Black Panther Party, we got Black Lawyers for Justice. So we studied this cracker Zimmerman. Goddamn murderer Zimmerman. Excuse me, there's some babies in here.
Come on now.
But this is serious. I'm trying my best to be calm because we died too early of high blood pressure. Good, I can't even tell you how angry I am. Because what really happened is they tried to portray this little fat white boy, Zimmerman, as some guy who wanted to be in law enforcement, and a lot of blacks was terrorizing the community he lived in, and he had to go get a gun out of fear and start protecting his community. But it's a damn lie. White people do lie. Understand that clearly. So we did what? Research. At the beginning I told you my background is think tanks. So we did research, and all of this is documented. Zimmerman had a problem with a pit bulldog that lived 2 houses over. And his mother-in-law was getting attacked by this pit bulldog. Zimmerman called the animal control out, and he bought a can of pepper spray. And he was telling the police officer, because animal control are police, and they can't arrest you as Michael Vick. So the police basically told this cracker, I don't even like to call his name, I don't want to give him no respect. He tried to be so dignified with his little fat pork chop eating butt. With all this blood money. So what Zimmerman did was, in talking to the officer told him, if you spray this dog with that, this dog will lock on you and kill you. What you really need is one of these. And he showed him his weapon. Within that week, Zimmerman went and bought the same weapon for a darn pit bulldog. That's why he bought the weapon. That's on record. Then they try to put this big black thundercloud over this case, and whose voice is it screaming? It's the African's voice from the African trade slave screaming. If you really want to know whose voice it is, it's the African spirit from Rosewood screaming. It's the red man who was channeled out of Florida, who took the long walk, screaming. Who give a damn if it was Zimmerman screaming? In reality of the history of Florida and our people. But let's go back to the facts, because that's what they like to deal with. So they try to portray Zimmerman as being afraid of Trayvon. And Trayvon being this bad guy, the boogeyman. But when you check Zimmerman history and record, Zimmerman in the last 4 years, the little white woman, lying white woman who lied in court and got a felony she fighting now about this money these crackers gave him for killing Trayvon. He had 2 white women before her. And sisters, listen to me close and Google this. Both white women that Zimmerman were with filed restraining orders on him. And it's public record. Sisters, when you go file a restraining order on a brother, that means that brother is really getting down. You can't talk to him, you can't talk to his cousin, you can't get nobody to deal with him. You gotta go get the white man to keep him 100 yards from you. And 2 women that he was gonna marry filed restraining orders on him in his own record in Florida. This man is out of his mind. Then he was in a bar and he was buying a 17-year-old a drink. The police came in the bar and he got in trouble for buying a minor liquor, and he got into a fist fight and physically fought the police and was arrested for police assault. Now if that was one of us, we would have got them 51 bullets. But he struck a police officer, which is assault and a felony. But his daddy is a Jewish judge in Florida, got it reduced, and Zimmerman did 12 months, I think, of anger management. Now here you dealing with a cracker that got 2 women that he loved, filed restraining orders on him, and has a restraint and has to go to anger management, and he say the baby got a problem. Have any of y'all heard any of this public?
Nope, not a bit.
And then they want to talk about the young brothers might have smoked a joint.
Nope. What they got to do?
You sit there, and we're talking about probable cause. Probable cause is when you call 911 and the operator, which works for the government in the state of Florida, tells you to stay in your car, that she has a unit on the way, and they get there, you 375 yards from your car standing over this baby dead. That's probable cause, arresting you right there. Probable cause is when you start a community watch group, and the first bylaw in the community watch group is you can't have a firearm. You only can have your phone and the radio of the person that's working with you from home that day. Why do you got a gun? You're breaking your own bylaw, soldier. Probable cause is when you done call 911 on 19 black men, and ain't now one of them been arrested. You're obsessed with black men. And this cracker sitting there and raised over $1 million, talking about he fear for his life. He should fear for his damn life. Anybody who kills an innocent child should fear for his life, if not from us, from the God that's real. Because if Hashim won't talk, the God I serve say he'll make the rocks cry out. And you want me to be quiet? What the hell wrong with these people? They out of their mind. I yield to them. Now, are we still slaves? And if we are, who is the slave master? Slavery is a very soft topic in our community now. And when I ran Maya, I had a lot of teachers. When I ran Maya, we brought Dr. John Henry Clark to Dallas, Texas. We brought Dr. Amos Wilson to Dallas, Texas. We brought Dr. Steve Coakley to Dallas, Texas. We brought Dr. Tony Morton to Dallas, Texas. We brought Brother Khalid Al-Mansour to Dallas, Texas. We brought Kwame Ture, H. Ralph Brown, and at the same time, we brought our brother that's in Denver, locked down 23 hours a day, and we pray that God help us release them right away. Brother H. Ralph Brown, and with his name now being Brother Jamil Amin, to Dallas, Texas. We brought Dr. Ben Carson here to Dallas, Texas. We brought many great, great minds to this city, and sisters. We helped with Tashala Shabazz and many, many others. But these was great teachers of our African and Pan-African history. And they made me, as a young man, believe enough to get up and do something about it and stop just reading about it. See, our problem is that we good readers, and thank God for that. I'm talking about us. I ain't talking about all of us. I'm talking about the ones who come out to these kind of meetings. We know about the destruction of the African civilization. We know about Carter G. Woodson, the miseducation of the Negro. If we start naming books, they wouldn't name them all day. But we have to stop reading books and start rewriting books. Because if Booker T. Washington can write a book as a slave, we're talking about slavery for a minute, as a young slave who said he never sat at a table to eat until he was 16 years old. He ate off the floor. Who we know was a janitor at Hampton University, and then became a teacher at Hampton University. Then started Tuskegee Institute in Tuskegee, Alabama with $300, and your daughter and your sons can go to Tuskegee to this day. Brought us the great Carter G. Brother George Washington Carver, but was writing books in the 1800s. When you talk about books and you want to read something from Frederick Douglass, Frederick Douglass wrote his book, and if you have read this book, went to England, and they published his book while he was in England. And he said he never was treated so good by white folk like he was in England. And the white folks told him, with him being a slave in America, and his book has been published and is moving around the country, if you go back, they will arrest you. He came back within months. He said, I didn't write the book to run from my people, I wrote the book to free my people. So if a man can write a book as a slave, and as you know, on the 4th of July, the independence of these crackers, sit there and do the speech, who am I? On your Independence Day, as a slave, could be arrested right after the speech. We have to do some book writing. See, the problem is we want to read books and celebrate books, but we got to write some books. But you know the problem with writing books? The problem with writing books, books are a very structured thing. They have an introduction, they have the forward, then what they have? Chapters. If you write a book, you got to have some chapters in your life. You got to do some work. You just can't write a book. You have to do some work to be able to write a book. So we got to stop being so relaxed with reading books and sharing them with our families and our community, and we have to start writing books, and that means we're going to have to start working harder so we can have something to write books about, because we are in an evolving and changing global international society, and everybody in the world is waiting on Africans in America. So, slavery. Brother Taiwan.
Yes, sir.
You know, nothing works like visual. That's why a lot of us go to different schools. And I remember when my daughter was young, we took her to a Montessori school, because Montessori school believe in visual and they believe in touching and feeling. And that's Africa, that's us. So I want to stop and I want to show some slides, so when we talk about this, we can feel, you can feel your brother as we work through this, because one of the most dangerous things in the world is a people that don't think they got the power to change things. See, if we didn't have the power to change things, I wouldn't be here. I know we do. I know we do. We're going to talk about it. Brother Taiwan, could you just start clicking through? And for this room, a lot of these pictures you have seen, it's just a reminder to wake your conscious back, your visual and the right and left side, the right and left side of your brain up, so when we talk, we can really feel what we're about to talk about, because this is a family meeting. Go ahead, Brother Taiwan. And we're worrying about our feet. These are two brothers. Look how the brothers, you know, we're so used to being lynched and seeing the pictures of the lynching hanging from the trees. But as you can see, they tied these brothers to the trees and evidently stabbed them or did something different. Go ahead, brother. When they had the children running around, when they were selling slaves, they had a sign posted. And that sign is still posted right outside in Dallas, Texas somewhere. Go ahead, brother. Now they got this brother tied to a pole. You can see the brother in the background just looking out there watching. They done put a net on this brother. Go back one. Can you go back? Let me tell y'all something about this. This picture here, I think is the one, is our brother Washington in Waco, Texas. Jesse. I was born in Waco, Texas. Doris Miller is my uncle. And Jesse Washington was our great-great uncle. And so we really feel the pain. Go ahead, Brother Taiwan. As you know, my former name was Steve Washington. Oh, go back one, brother. As you notice, this brother's head has been cut off. We're dealing with some beast. Go ahead, Brother Tyler. And they were lynched their sisters too, as we know. And we had to watch Rodney King and Emmett Till long before. But in the middle of all that is hope. Hope right there. Because when we get to talking about, when I open up and talk about June 19th, this is the general who came to Houston, Texas with 2,000 Union soldiers and let the African slaves know they were free in June 19, 1865. That was the general right there with the Union Army who was given that mission, I think, by Jackson. Go ahead, brother. That's our family. This is the brother who's fighting back. And I don't know if he was shot or not, but I wish I could work with him. There's a picture of our family. God. Right there, Brother Taiwan. This is a group out of Austin, Texas. In the early 1900s, I think it was said 1901, they put one of the first huge June 19th, that was the June 19th committee for the state of Texas. It was sharp, wasn't it? Go ahead, Brother Tyler. Same group, a different group, but the same, they really cared about this June 19th. We're going to talk about it in a minute.
My grandma.
This is slavery in itself, and we all know in this room. Who is this? All right. My God. Hold right there, bro. It's impossible to even think that our children will be able to do math or read. But you'll be surprised how many can't. Go ahead, bro. This is the brother who said that NFL football is like slavery, and they got mad at him. Brother Peterson is his name, I think.
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, they was angry at this brother because he told the truth. He know they on the block for sale. They can be shipped to any plantation at any time. Go ahead, Brother John. This is the brother who I'm really disappointed in. And I believe he could have did so much in the position and the power he had in Georgia. But some of these brothers want to live off of walking across a bridge in 1950 something instead of doing something in 2013. We're going to talk about him when we talk about are we still slaves and who was the slave master. Go ahead, Tom. That's what they feel about their president and the president of the United States of America and the commanding general. Now, if we would have did this, if the Black Panther Party would have did this, all our houses would have been surrounded.
That's right.
Yeah, white people do what the hell they want. Go ahead, Brother Tom. How many of y'all have seen the Juneteenth flag? That's the official Juneteenth flag that the committees we were showing earlier commissioned. Yes, sir. That's it. All right. You can turn the lights on. Just some visual reminders so when we get into this, we'll be able to work. Now, if we're going to deal with the topic of slavery, we have to go back to Africa, am I right? Now, it was documented that Africa is equal in size and mass if you had the United States, India, Europe, China, and Argentina, and put them all together, that would be the size of Africa. As y'all know, when Obama was elected, one of the first things he did, he went to the GA Summit. The GA Summit is the top 8 industrial countries in the world, and they basically set out the politics 20 years and 50 years out. And we know that it's Britain, France, Germany, Portugal, Belgium. We know the different European countries that's involved in that. But what happened is, thank you, bro. What happened is when Obama went to the GA Summit, he left the GA Summit and he made an unannounced visit to Ghana. Y'all remember that? And he landed in Ghana, and Rush Limbaugh and all the boys went crazy because they were like, how can the president just go to Africa and it's not on his agenda? And he stayed for one day in Ghana, and he went in the door and out of the door of no return that we well know about in this room. So to us, he was sending a message that he just left the GA Summit with 8 European countries and their staffs talking about the future of the world, and ain't a damn thing they had in their folders had anything to do with any industrial anything, because their countries ain't got nothing in them. The folders was full of what? Africa. If they was dealing with rubber, they was dealing with what? Liberia. If they was dealing with coffee in their little Starbucks, what were they dealing with? If they was dealing with iron, ore, gold, silver, they was dealing with their little cell phones and the little silver that come out of Namibia that makes the cell phones all over the world working with, what were they dealing with? If they was dealing with oil, them old Dutch in Nigeria was dealing with shale oil, they were dealing with what? Nigeria. He said this is the biggest game ever been played on the world, that these people have nothing. And every white economy in the world is based on Africa. And we sitting here and have for us,
Say that again, please.
every economic, if you get the IRS, if you get these CPAs to go and study open any books on any of these countries, their wealth come from Africa. So we are here under British rule, 1776 Tea Party and all that. Then they lie about 1912 in Jamestown, Virginia, 20 Africans brought over here. We know it was way before. But we're dealing with a concept of us Africans in channeled slavery through the triangle for over 400 and some years. John Henry Clark said if they emptied the Atlantic, we could walk on the slave bones to America. But that bothers me. But as I got deeper in studying, something started to bother me worse. When I read stuff like in 1884, when did Lincoln sign the proclamation? We're going to go over those dates. But in 1884, that was 1863, right? Now think about that. We're Africans in this country, and Lincoln, the cracker, just do what he do. And we all know what he did, and he didn't do it because he loved us and that he had curly hair. He did it because these old white crackers out here with these plantations, looking like Boss Hall, spitting tobaccos, didn't know how to talk proper English, had more money than them intellectuals from Harvard and Yale up north, and these crackers was killing them with this cotton and this tobacco and these Negro slaves. But then we say in 1865, 1863, we'll go over all them dates because it's very important for the youth to know the right dates. My teacher and mentor, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, was well studied. He really believed in research, and we try to carry on that legacy. But in 1884, there was a conference called the Berlin Conference. It was held in Europe by colonies who their power was, they decided how Africa would be split up. It would be split up to France, Germany, Portugal, the Belgian, and Britain. Now just think with me for a minute. We get taken. We over here for 300-400 years. We get freed in 1865, and they are holding a conference in 1884 on enslaving Africa. Think about it. Splitting up Africa. And they did it. And so then you start looking at the dates. Sekou Touré in Africa, May 25th, 1963, 31 independent African countries met, and they put together an organization called the Organization for African Unity, the OAU. Are y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
Talk black to me. What year? 1963. This is 1963. I'm born. I'm living. I'm born in 62. Medgar Evers gets shot in Mississippi in what? 1963. We over here. That means reason I brought up Brother Medgar Evers because we already in the civil rights movement. We done got beyond slavery, and you got brothers in Africa having to organize an organization in the 60s. Then in 72, the organization had over 40,000 people in different parts of America come together, and they put together African Liberation Day. That's 1972 for the little sisters in here. We'll give you one. In 72, we had our first black or African to ever run for president of the United States, and it wasn't Jesse, it wasn't Al, it wasn't Obama, it was Shirley Chisholm in New York, our congresswoman who said she couldn't be bought and couldn't be paid.
That's right.
And at 72, we got a sister running for president of the United States, and we got Africans starting an African Liberation Day. And then we all know in 1990, our brother Nelson Mandela was released after 27 years of captivity by the British. This is really, really deep stuff. You got a country and a nation of people who are the greatest people ever to live on earth. And I'm talking about warriors. I'm talking about Zulus. I'm talking about Maroons. I'm talking about President Obama's father, if he ever remember, which is a, what group? No, when we talk Kenya, we talking Mau Mau's. Mau Mau wasn't no punk. We're talking warriors. What make the African so vulnerable? What nature make us so vulnerable that we have to deal with, are we slaves? How we got to be slaves? But the bigger picture is when we look back with Sankofa and go back, that the most powerful 54 nations of the world was enslaved by a couple of crackers. I tell young people all the time, all over the world, that you're not a minority. All you have to do is get on one of these little AirTran flights and go 2 hours in any direction. You become the minority as soon as you land in Brazil, as soon as you land in Colombia, as soon as you land in Haiti, as soon as you land in Jamaica, as soon as you land in the Bahamas, before you get to Ghana, before you get to Zimbabwe, before you get to Liberia. These crackers ain't but 2 places you can go to see them.
Come on now.
And then what makes this cracker be a cracker? And for you all, bringing back my brother and mentor, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, the cracker name came from the crack of the whip. And so the crackers got to take that cracker standing up. Don't get mad at me. You shouldn't have never put the marks on our back. We will always call you crackers and remind our people why we call you crackers. This is real family talk. Why are we in a situation where we watch Shaka Zulu? What does these little British do? How can we even make a statement and repeat a statement that the sun rises and sets on the British Empire? Why did Nkrumah have to free an African country that's full of gold in 1954 from the British? Why did Patrice Lumumba have to free the Congos from the Belgians? Why did Joe Kenyatta have to free Kenya for some crackers? Why? Why were these Jews even trying to land in Uganda? Why did Idi Amin even have to deal with them? Why? Because by nature, God made us a loving people. God made us a caring people. God made us a people that cared about humanity, because really, these are our babies.
Yeah.
It's hard to kill your own baby. But sometimes that baby need a whooping. So, these are serious times and a serious hour when we talk slavery. Now, if we saying, wow, it gets deep in the mind to think of how powerful we are. How many of y'all seen both episodes of Dr. James Small and KRS-One in the video? What's it called? Taiwan Color? Hidden Color. Man, ain't that thing deep?
Yes, sir.
You know what bothered me about it? When KRS-One talk about the Klan uniform. He said, you can't go to Goodwill and buy a Klan uniform. You can't go to the Salvation Army and buy a Klan uniform. And if y'all went to Plano, out there with them crackers, I think it's still crackers, ain't it? Or North Dallas, and go to the cleaners, you won't see them bringing in no Klan uniforms to get clean. Where do they clean them at?
Right.
Where are the Klan suits? Why ain't none on display nowhere? Because they still in their damn closets and they use them every day, man. The Klan uniform would never go away. Now let's talk some good talk. Slavery. We're in a unique situation because for all of these years, these crackers have really pulled the okie doke on us. They showed us this Tarzan. They showed us these cannibals stirring up somebody, eating them out of a pot. They made us almost hate Africa through their sensationalism. That's why slavery lasted so long, because the Africans they bought here in slavery. If you take my baby and you teach my baby who my baby is, and you take me from my baby's at a disadvantage. But then if you take my baby and you teach that baby and you teach that baby, generations of ignorance taught to them by this European in the way they wanted to teach. And then all of a sudden we're here. But some in our psyche keep coming up that they lying. This is not real Christianity. Then we find out much, much later about Michelangelo and all that. But just stick with me for a minute in slavery, because now I'm really understanding the damage they did to us. And how, you know why? Because we got a lot of modern day slaves that's damaged right now. And y'all can name some of them. I ain't been around Dallas in a while, but when I was here, I used to have to protest every day, and half the time had to protest Negroes. So the damage that was done to us. So I'm at Clark University, Atlanta Clark University, speaking, and the Chinese girl speaking, and she says, you know, Chinese get when they come to America, they excel and they do so well in your schools and this, that, and that. And I had to tell her, wait a minute, that's good. I mean, that's right. You're telling the truth. We can't fight truth. If you're fighting against truth, you're gonna lose, because truth is truth. But I had to tell her the other truth. I said, I don't care if you go to Harvard, Yale, Duke, if you go to Princeton, if you go to any of the great think tanks, cracker think tanks, that they think is great. They all record the same thing, that the best grades made in the institutions in America are Africans from Africa. Nobody can touch them. Did y'all know that? That's on record. Why do the Africans from Africa come over here and do so well? But we the slaves here in the institutions, a lot of them were started by people like George, we talked about Booker T. Washington earlier, for us. I was at Clark 2 weeks ago. Clark has most of the time 6,200 students in Atlanta. It's down to 3,300. Morehouse is the same. I was talking to a brother from Grambling. They thinking about making Grambling a junior college. Why ain't we going to black institutions anymore? Now they, you know what they're doing? They're bringing in the whites to the institution. Through scholarships, because they got to get some people in the campuses. Where have we disconnected from the struggle, from revolution, from education, from our higher learning institutions? Dying right before our eyes. Slavery of the mind. So I have to deal with this. And so this is what happened. This is one man's opinion. These crackers. Y'all know about the ADL, JDL? JDL. ADL, JDL. These are Jewish Defense League. These are Jewish organizations that monitor black folk and run the world from surveillance and all that stuff they talking about. The United States doing right now, them Jews been doing. They just celebrate their 100th year. Why did the Jews need ADL or JDL 100 years ago if all of this gonna come right back to slavery? Because you know about the Jewish Holocaust, but we don't know about the African Holocaust. We're talking about the damage that's done to us and continuously done to us, and I'm gonna tell you why and how it's done to us. And you gotta understand it plain, for the kids can change it, because you know that's gonna change. We ain't gonna talk. But the kids might have a chance to change if they take it serious. Some of this stuff they finna hear right now. The JDL and the ADL, the Jews own New York Times. They own Dallas Morning News. They own the San Francisco Chronicle. They own the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They own Time Magazine. They own most of your media outlets. They started the AP, Associated Press. I just mess up this English all the time. Forgive me. It wasn't meant for me. And if this brother do something, they can put him on the front page of every paper in America and ruin his life in a matter of a push of a button called sin. This is the power these people got, and this is what they use every day. Where did we let them, and where did we go wrong? We gave them our babies. In the early 80s, the late 80s going to the 90s, they started portraying our babies as hoodlums and thugs, pants down, drive-by shooters, black on black crime. And they rolled this through their media machine on the front page of the Dallas Morning News every day until it soaked in. Till they started making you go around the corner and go around the block in your own neighborhood because you didn't want to go by the two brothers who was on the corner because you saw a shooting last night. When they your nephews, they your son, they your son's friend. When you should have been stopping your car, putting the flashes on and going up there dealing with them. But they made you so fearful, and their pants are down. And let me tell you something, there's some people that went across Morehouse stage and shook Obama's hand with their pants down. Pants down ain't got nothing to do with your mind. I don't like it, but it don't describe your mind. It's just something that we into right now. But they took our babies from us, man. We was desensitized. So when we see them handcuffing a brother, we wouldn't do like Huey Newton We wouldn't do like Brother King and some of the Panthers and go up and check the pig and see what he's doing. What would we do? We'll go the other way. Man, another nigga done did something. Think about what you used to say. We get home, and before we even get the car in the garage, we hit the remote. It damn near hit the trunk. We go look at us and Hannity and Cone and Rush Limbaugh. And don't come back out until 7:30, peeping in our own neighborhood. Shoot across town. Getting away from what? Who? A great writer wrote, no race of people display the worst of their race before the world. We don't either. But they did, because they own the press. And so once they took our babies, they started coming for the grown-ups. Let me tell you how they did it in Atlanta. They can't even show somebody selling some weed, somebody buying a prostitute, some gangbanger. It's just numb now. It just showed it too much. So last week, they indicted Tyrone Brooks, one of the brothers who soldiered with Dr. King for 25 years. Last week, 2 weeks ago, they indicted the sister was over Atlanta School Board and gave her a $7 million bond. And they indicted 136 school teachers and principals in Atlanta. In Atlanta, there's a county called DeKalb County where I stay. Is the second richest county as far as blacks in America. They indicted that school board president, and the governor of Georgia appointed school board members. And in Atlanta, we vote for our school board members, but it gives the crackers and the Republicans a way to come in and point who they want over our kids. So if they get your babies during the day, they'll come for you at night. Now the DA, Paul Howard, now they trying to indict him. I ain't telling y'all nothing. Y'all went through it with John Wiley Price and Brother Al Lipton and how they come after us. Hell, look what they doing to Obama. So then look what they did. Y'all heard of Eddie Long, cause y'all got T.J. Jake. So we had Eddie Long. They broke that man down to nothing, man. So what they doing now? Going after your educators, going after your president, going after your preachers. They breaking the foundation of the African in America. Why? Why on the 5 o'clock news you never see a Chinese getting arrested?
That's right.
They got the Chinese mafia.
That's right.
Why you never see nobody from India being arrested?
That's right.
They ain't all successful.
That's right.
Why on your 5 o'clock news you don't see a person from Africa being arrested?
Talk to them, brother.
Why you don't never see other cultures? You don't see no Japanese head all down, they put them in a car.
That's right.
You only see your people.
That's right.
And you know why they do it? Because you don't say a damn thing about it, man.
Shame the devil.
I don't care how powerful you think they are. As long as you buying that Colgate, you support it.
That's right.
Long as you drinking that Coke, you support it.
That's right.
Long as you buying that Mazda, you support it. Because advertising is what pay for news.
That's right. That's right.
So you're supposed to study the news.
That's right.
You're supposed to go down to Channel 2 and say, look here, Colgate, we can't buy no more.
That's right.
If you keep running the 5 o'clock news, I seen it was Colgate, Shell, or Exxon. We ain't using Exxon no more. We ain't using Shell no more.
That's right.
If we have to start making oil in the, gas in the backyard, you got to send the advertisers a message, and the advertisers will say, stop this.
That's right.
Why? Why? Everybody want to act like Dr. King was a punk. Let me tell you something. Are you listening? Dr. King's last speech was given where, sister? I ain't putting you on the spot. I want to help you. No? No, I'm going to help you. No? Now you say with me, and you say between all these black people, and you'll never forget this again because Brother Hashim put you on the spot. But it's going to help you later and you put somebody on the spot. Because I've been put on the spot. It was Memphis, Tennessee. And he got killed at the Lorraine Hotel, Black Hotel, in 1968. We just reminded. And he did a speech the day before he was killed. Can somebody tell me what the name of the speech? I've been to the mountaintop. And the same media we're talking about took 12 minutes of his speech and played it so many times. Everybody here can say, I've been to the mountaintop. I ain't fearing no man. I've looked over and seen the coming of the Lord. White people don't care when you're ready to die. They say, good. That nigga finna get out of here. But boy, if you go to the King Center or if you go online and you get the whole 42 minutes of that tape, it'll change your life. You would think Malcolm X and Garvey were speaking at the same time. Can I share the other 32 minutes with you? King said the other 32 minutes, they say we poor. They say we weak. We are if we stay separated. He said, but in 1968, we spent $31 billion. Black people in America. He said, and that made us the 5th richest nation in the world. We're richer than China. I mean, not China. He said we're richer than Canada. I'm telling you what he's saying. He goes on to talk about the nation that we as black people in America in 1967 was richer than. He said we spent $31 billion, Brother King, in 1967.
That's right.
We spent $131 billion last year.
That's right.
He said, so what I want y'all to know is we ain't buying no more coke. Y'all didn't hear that in his last speech, did you? We ain't buying no more Wonder Bread. He said, we ain't dealing with no more white insurance companies. We dealing with black insurance companies.
Right.
Y'all didn't hear that part of the speech, did you?
Right.
He said, we ain't dealing with no more white banks. We're going to put our money in black banks.
Teach, brother.
Go get the tape. He said, Jesse, a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. The black man got to straighten up his back. He said, they talking about when we get to heaven, we're going to wear white all over heaven. I like that. I like that. He said, but we need some dresses and some suits and some shoes right now.
That's right.
He said, talking about a new Jerusalem. All the preachers want to talk about it. We need a new New York.
That's right.
We need a new Atlanta. We need a new Memphis. Y'all didn't hear him say that, did you?
No, sir.
Then Dr. King went on to say in that speech, he said, the black man got to stop laughing when something ain't funny and scratching when he don't itch. You didn't hear that, did you? You got to go get that speech, man. These people were mad at this man when they killed him. Dr. King was coming around. You know, he was doing the poor people campaign. He said we was going back because what? They had gave us an insufficient check. Now let's talk about, all of this is dealing with slavery, and are we still slaves, and why, and we got to give our young people some tools that they can use to get out of this slavery. Because slavery is a state of mind. Amen. So Dr. King said, a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. He told us to stop buying these products. The products is what's killing us. We go into a Chinese restaurant and we say this over and over again, and we pass it and we die and we pass it to our kids and we keep saying it, but we don't do nothing about it. We don't see, not even the broom sweeper in there is black. And we get us a double portion of food and then get a $3 Coke. And the food ain't no good for you no way. We our worst enemy. We go into a Indian cleaners, bypass the brothers cleaners. And these people don't even look up at you when they talking to you. And we buy their goods. Why? Why do we rush to give our money to everybody? Something wrong, man. With us, not them. Every race of people come over here and live among themselves. You follow, all right, let's just do this for the camera and for the young people. Anybody in here got a Chinese neighbor, raise your hand. Anybody in here got a Japanese neighbor, raise your hand. Anybody in here got a neighbor from India, raise your hand. These people ain't living next to you, but they'll come and get the spot on the corner that you should got and sell you goods. We have been a rich people.
That's right.
In the 30s, we own our own bus lines.
Yes, sir.
We own our own insurance companies.
That's right.
We own our own little stores and mom and pop stores. I'm so glad my daughter might not got to do it, but I used to walk down barefooted on rocks to the candy lady. And I spent me 35 cents and had a bag of candy and a pickle, went home and munched all night.
Teach them.
Yes, sir.
Where's the candy lady at?
Gone.
She's 7-11 now.
Right.
Talk black to me.
That's right.
How can the people keep us slaves like this? How can the people slave our country like this? Africa is waiting on us more than we're waiting on them. We're damn fools. Talking about I ain't going to Africa because white people, they told us about Africa. And you go out there to the DFW airport and try to get on a plane to Africa, you'll be the only Negro on the plane.
The rest of the NB.
They'll be laughing and giggling and talking about, can I have another Cavalier? Because I'm going to get me some more diamonds. What is wrong with us, man? We can't let our kids keep going into this. We're a global, international, fast-moving society. We can Google all this stuff. Carter G. Woodson said, if they board up the back door, we'll tear the board down to get back in there. We got to leave that board on that door. We can't let our kids go through this psychological damage like Amos Wilson talked about. No more. It is a way out. But we got to be honest with ourselves. Last week, there's a group called the National Conference of Black Mayors. And it met in Atlanta, Georgia. And the executive director of that organization is a sister named Vanessa Williams. And we have 669 black mayors in America. Did y'all know that? We got power, man. Because, let's be honest, nobody really know who their senator is or their state legislator. Every once in a while, you know who your congressman is. But we know who that mayor is. Because we can go down and sit with that city council and listen to what they're doing, and we can sign our name even and talk to them. Am I right? Well, mayors got more power than anybody because they don't have to go through a lot of politics to say yes. So you got, why are these other countries we talked about and these other people from other nations coming over here doing so much better than us? Because we are slipping on our job. We're not writing books. We don't have our chapters together yet, as I said earlier. Because, listen to me closely, they did a deal called what? Affirmative action. Man, listen out. We are not them, we. We are a people that they said in 1619, 20 slaves came off a ship and was sold like cattle. We are a people in this Constitution that was written as how many fifth of a man? 3/5 of a man. It's written. We can prove them. We can prove this, right?
Right.
This ain't Brother Hashim talking. This is facts in American history. We are the people who were enslaved in these cotton fields, tobacco fields, building these cities, got Negroes sitting there taking pictures, building the White House. Am I right?
You're right.
We done this. And they know they was wrong. Lynching us, burning us. So when Lincoln signs the proclamation and Juneteenth come around, now let's look at Juneteenth because I'm gonna go back to this point, but we want to get some facts for the babies. September 22nd, 1862, President Lincoln proclamation was telling the rebellion, and those slaves joined the Union Army. And this is where you get into where certain slaves were freed before other slaves. Because in January 1st, 1863, we celebrated we celebrated the proclamation which declared the slaves to be free in 11 rebel-ran states. The rest of the states and all the Africans in the world was freed January 31st, 1865, when Congress passed the 13th Amendment abolishing slavery throughout the United States. And of course, we just talked about June 19, 1965, the cracker we showed a while ago came down here with 2,000 Union soldiers and freed Texas. So what I'm trying to put together here is all of this is documented, that all of this had to be done because we were mistreated and we were slaves for some 300 years. But when we start talking about reparations, then they start talking to us like we're talking foreign talk. Nobody understands. And then we're talking Chinese and Portuguese and something all together, and it's a new language. But when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor and declared war on America, and we don't even know if that really happened the way they happened, but let's just go with their facts. Okay. When the Japanese in 48 bombed Pearl Harbor, right? And that country declared war on America, right? Then they went and put the Japanese in concentration camps, and the Japanese got reparations. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Our red man and red sister has certain reparations. And the white man, white man a funny dude. He tried to be an Indian when it's time to get money.
Yeah.
He give you something, he come take it back. Cause we're getting back to us. What we're coming back to is teaching our kids about how they use and pimp us. And why we're the race of people that get pimped all the time, because we are the only ones who have the birthright and the legacy, Africans in America, to claim this reparations that will shut this country down and can win. Nobody else can claim this. So they give us affirmative action. And before it even start good, they bring the white woman in there and make her a minority. Yeah. How in the hell the owner of Cheryl's wife driving next to her husband home in the Bentley can be a minority? I guess she take the MARTA bus. Y'all got, what bus y'all got here? It ain't MARTA.
Dark.
She take the dark bus downtown and get in line with the sisters for food stamps. How can you do this to us on our call? It was put together because even when we came out of slavery, even in 1865, when the proclamation was signed, where in the hell could we go? What could we do? Most of us couldn't read and write. You cheated us out of our education. Man, I was in a board meeting last week in Atlanta. They talking about the system. Put a $7 million bond on the sister, talking about it was all over cheating. They did something in Atlanta where if your class, your school got higher grades in the scoring, you got a bonus. What in the hell teachers getting bonuses to do what they supposed to do anyway? The trash man get paid more than the teachers.
That's right.
The 7-Eleven counter person get paid more than teachers. Pay the teachers what they're worth.
Right. Teach, brother. Teach.
But we tried to tell them. Dr. Collins tried to tell them. You're dealing with Berkeley and Harvard and Yale and Duke and these crackers coming up with these books and these textbooks, and they teaching you testing, and they making the test just as crazy as the damn test when in the 60s you had to go try to vote and you had to count bubbles in a soap bar and count how many bubble gums is in a machine. And then they pump through white intellectuals with a bunch of Negroes around them taking photos, these testing in our school system that wasn't right for our children no way. And our grades start to fall. Then you come back with your second plan and you tell us if we can pick up the testing, you will give us bonuses. Knowing that 136 teachers got busted. But in Atlanta, there's probably 6,700 teachers. What about the 98 that didn't cheat? You wanted to parade before the world because you want India and Africa and Ghana and Brazil and China to think that we're ignorant folks and we can't teach and we can't handle our educational system. You study weakening the African, the slave of America, before the world. Why? Why this attack on us? Because we the only ones can ask for reparations.
Teach, brother.
And we done got so far away from it, we don't even say it no more.
Right.
And when my mentor, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and my man Malik Zulu Shabazz brought him to Howard University, and on C-SPAN, Khalid did the Black Holocaust with Brother Steve Copeland, Dr. Leonard Jeffrey, who I was with a couple weeks ago, and Tony Martin. We ate him alive. Doc said he walked through the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. How the hell these Jews got a museum in Washington, D.C.? And the Africans who built the White House got nothing. And we sitting there giggling, eating M&Ms, drinking Coke, and trying to get some Lay's potato chips. What's wrong with us, man? Where's our mind? These people are handling their business. These Jews got a museum next to the White House.
Teach it.
We built. And in 1940-something, when Hitler did what he did to him, black soldiers went over to Germany and turned off the gas and walked them out of the gas chambers. Go look at your history books. White people didn't go in there and mess with that gas. They started the gas. Prescott Bush was in bed with Hitler. Ford, who invented your car, wrote a book called How the Jews Created Hollywood. They ain't friends of these Jews. If they are, after the Germany Holocaust, why come the Jews didn't come to America? Why did they have to go to Israel? Why did the Palestinian brothers have to give them land if we were so in love with them? We knew what they would do. They would take ABC. They would take Dallas Morning News. They would take Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They would take Time Magazine. They would take Newsweek. They would give Rush Limbaugh whatever he wanted. They would give Bill O'Reilly whatever he wanted to keep you buffooned. They would take Jay-Z from you. They would take 50 Cent from you. They would take Curtis Mayfield, who wrote 2,000 songs, and take his rights to his songs and parlay it with their nieces, nephews, and build a legacy off. They would kill Michael Jackson before your eyes. Kill Whitney Houston before your eyes. The same people who own Universal, who now own Motown, and all the rest who now own BET, Viacom, same group. Steal your intellectual property, man. Then just because you can talk about the Mississippi burning just because a Cheney and a Goodman came down. Yeah, they'll sacrifice a couple of their own to run you. You sitting there doing protests with 250,000 and 5 Jews up there. We shall. They never came to march with you. They came to lead you. Ask W.E. Du Bois for the historians in the room. When the NAACP was started, it was all Jews and one Negro.
Teach on the
Talk to me. And for the FBI who's in the room and on the camera, the hell with you. Because you sit, you little punk. Yeah, he was a faggot. J. Edgar Hoover. You sicked them on Marcus Garvey. And we let a little gay white man destroy Marcus Garvey right before our eyes.
That's right. That's right.
We let him work between W.E. Du Bois.
That's right.
And work them apart right before our eyes.
Right.
Then when they got rid of Garvey, where's the Black Cross? Where's our ships? We ain't did nothing since. Little gay man.
Yes, sir.
A little gay man who said Dr. Martin Luther King was the most dangerous man alive.
That's right.
How you gonna say Dr. King is the most dangerous man alive and stand up and be the head of the FBI and still have your job? This man talking about we shall overcome and little black boys and white girls playing in the red clay of Georgia. He wasn't talking about cutting off these crackers' head. And then this man gonna sit there and run almost 9 presidents because he was eavesdropping on their conversations and had dirt on them. Every last one of them wanted to fire him, but he would talk about all of them. If y'all done read the books and know about COINTELPRO, this little white cracker was crazy, man. Psychotic little old faggot.
That's right.
Yeah. Tell me the sister who went to, the white woman who went to Tuskegee and flew on the plane with the brothers. He told Roosevelt, you know your wife gay? I tell the world. If you don't sign me up for, yeah, that's the kind of stuff he would do. It's on record now. This man should have been indicted for treason. And he's a hero, name on every building in the world. He killed Dr. King. Killed him. And when you go to Georgia, the FBI federal building is named Dr. King. You're gonna kill him and put his name. He destroyed Malcolm X.
That's right.
Then put him on a federal stamp, and his family don't even get the money for the stamp. The crackers get the money for Malcolm X stamp. And we sitting here, all conscious, and wondering why we still slaves.
That's right.
We slaves because we ain't angry about what we need to be angry about. We ain't taking care of business what we need to be taking care of business.
Right.
And these people are willing to die and kill to run this thing, man.
Yep.
This ain't play talk. We had a brother come out with FUBU. That's dangerous. For us, by us.
Right.
The Jews bought it for him. Told him how they was gonna spread it around the country. That nigga went 2 blocks that way with that little couple million they gave him, and they took it right and put it in the trash can. You can't find FUBU nowhere in America. Am I right?
Not nowhere.
John Johnson, right there in Midland, Texas, where I grew up. Somebody knocked on my mama's door, had a little folder, talking about we got this new network called BET. My mama said, what is that? You know, my mama one of them old saints. She had to get her glasses. Let me see, baby, what you talking about. So if I give you $6, we're gonna be able to have something black come on our TV? Yes, ma'am. And my mama signed up, and yours did too. And we have John Johnson build BET. And then he got Tavis Smiley and all them brothers and sisters. He started building that news channel. And he stopped showing so many rap videos. And that news got to going. Then he got that sister, what's her name, Beverly Smith?
Bev Smith.
Bev Smith. He got to doing them shows. We finna have our own Bill O'Reilly.
That's right.
We were finna have our own Hannity and Combs.
He ain't going.
And them Jews saw it and they went in there. Can we talk to you, Billy? Who owned Essence Magazine? Who owned 50% of Ebony right now as we speak? Who owned Motown? Who owned Proline? My big brother Como Cottrell right here in Dallas. But who owned Proline now? We give them everything, man.
That's right.
Now they got the BET Awards. Just drop it like it's hot. And that's all we get. Come on, man. You think Whitney really got in the bathtub and drowned herself? Man, Whitney was one of the best ever. They tried to send her on a tour. She was hoarse. She couldn't get through it. She went through the stuff with Bobby. She was beginning to be an embarrassment to the Jews. Do you know how many songs they have, how many CDs they sold since her death? You know, go check. I have. She one of the top female sellers of all time. Do you know how many Michael Jackson CDs been sold since his death?
Yeah.
I got documented proof that they killed Michael Jackson.
Right.
And then in England, they built an insurance policy on for $1 billion. And then, because they wanted him to go on tour, these guys out of England put an insurance policy on. Then they hired the doctor who killed him. And so if you're murdered, the insurance policy, what, doubles?
Yep.
Because Michael wouldn't give him that that Beatles catalog. Talk to me. You go talk to me about Sam Cooke was killed by some black prophet. You out of your mind. Come talking to me about our brother sitting on the dock of the Bay plane just crashed. Stuff just don't happen to certain people. Why all the Temptations damn near die broke? These people steal from us right before our eyes millions of dollars, and they build legacies.
That's right.
And let me tell you something. The slave thing. If my son or my daughter got to go get a job from a white man, I'm in trouble. when you guarantee that you can employ your kids, that's the best way to go. That's what they do, man. So now it's so cold-blooded how they do it now. They got little young white boys, little young Jews. They just pass stuff to their nephew. You run Motown.
That's
I
right.
don't got time, man. I'm not going out there with them niggas.
That's right.
You run BET.
That's right.
Let me tell you a cunning game that they did. And anything I say, check it. Like Steve Copeland say, fact check. BET was bought by Viacom. The year they bought it, the next year they did the BET Awards. You know why? Because we Negroes love awards. If you get a little plastic thing and put our name on it, we get so damn happy we'll just walk the desert. It's such a game. So the BET Awards is in Atlanta, right? Why? Gucci Man in Atlanta, T.I. in Atlanta, Outkast in Atlanta, Andre 3000 in Atlanta, Usher's in Atlanta.
That's right.
Who else is in Atlanta? I mean, I can name so many people in Atlanta. I'll be up here all day. Waka Flocka in Atlanta.
That's right.
Ciara's in Atlanta.
That's right.
On and on. Luda is in Atlanta. Jeezy is in Atlanta.
That's right.
Webby is in Atlanta.
Real records in Atlanta.
So when they come to Atlanta, the mayor give them the Fox Theater to do the BET Awards at the Civic Center. They say, hey, we'll bring it if you... Man said, oh yeah, we need that. So they get the damn Civic Center for free. Listen to me. Then all the artists are there, or at least 70% of them, so they don't even have to buy a nigga an airplane ticket or a hotel. T.I. ain't finna leave his $2 billion house to come sleep at the Marriott. He ain't finna let your little Continental limo come pick him up. He gonna drive his Phantom or his Bentley or his Maserati. So they only have to even give the niggas transportation. Now you got the place free. You can get Will Smith and Jada Pinkett to host it for you. They probably cost $1 million a piece to do something for us. But that BET Award, we'll host it.
For free.
They might have to fly them in. They might have to hotel them at the Four Seasons. But they gonna host it. Now you got all these black artists in Atlanta. Then they got the big stage behind them with the fire blowing and the lights lighting up.
Right.
They go get their little Jewish cousins to build that. Then they charge it to your record label. It might charge $250,000 to build a little display behind T.I. Then T.I. and my friend, good friend of mine, Jason Jeter, who's the other part of Grand Hustle, they have to pay for that. But they let their little Jewish cousins and nephews get that little money. Then if you ever went to BET Awards, you go behind the scene, ain't a nigga back there. There's all white people running the lights, walking around with the little radios. Come this way, T.I. Luda, could you come with me? They get paid. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Brother Taiwan, what they say about the Super Bowl? Everybody watch Super Bowl to watch what?
Advertising.
So all of a sudden, BET Awards, Fly Delta,
Right.
eat more chicken, use Colgate, huh? Sprite. They all pay them Jews too. So then they get all the advertising money. And guess what? The Civic Center hold about 17,000. Niggas gotta pay for them seats. So we line up to get the tickets. I wanna be on the front. If you get the front, you're paying about $1,000. So we fill up the arena. Then they run the BET Award how many times? So the advertisers really pay for it.
Yes.
So when we leave in the Phantoms, we walk the red carpet, we leave in the Bentleys. But it's one little Jewish man with a briefcase leaving.
But all the money.
He get in a Ford Taurus, probably a 1990.
Thank you.
And boy, when he get to the bank, he have to call somebody to meet him at the car.
Carry all that money.
What's wrong with us, man? Why do we know this and continue to let it happen? We're the slave master. Because we have these conversations and then we don't do nothing about it. Tomorrow we'll be eating Chinese food bright and early. Instead of going and getting on the internet and putting our kids around the dinner table talking about, look, this is where the rubber comes. You can't find the rubber plant in Chicago. It's in Liberia.
Yes, sir.
We need to get to Liberia, and they want us to get to them.
That's right.
Because we just had the National Conference of Black Mayors, 669 black mayors in Atlanta. And guess what? 270 brothers and sisters came from Bermuda, Jamaica, Haiti, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Uganda. So now the National Conference of Black Mayors just became the International Conference of Black Mayors. Right now in Las Vegas, if you Google it, they having a National Conference of Mayors. That's the white mayors. But a brother named Clint Ford was mayor of Tuskegee. He broke away from the National Conference of Mayors 40 years ago and started the black mayors. So the black mayors meet. But the black mayors wasn't really getting nowhere because why? All our cities are broke. But boy, when they connected with Africa, and they remember what I told you a while ago, that the Belgian, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the British, and any rest of them that want to get involved, they all suck Africa titties.
Right.
And boy, they mad when we ready to knock them off that titty. And boy, I'm gonna tell you, we were, me and another brother like Taiwan was videoing the conference. They stole my computer, tried to steal my hard drive. They do not want us to connect with Africa, brothers and sisters. But the sisters and brothers in Africa want to connect with us so bad.
That's right.
They understand now. They need us.
That's right.
And if this connection is made, slavery is over on both sides. Because earlier in my lecture, I talked about how they've been enslaved like we've been enslaved. And they should be more embarrassed than us, because if you was a Zulu, you could stay a Zulu. If you was a Muslim, you could stay a Muslim. When they were in Africa, under what went on with them, they tongue wasn't cut out if they was caught reading a book. They wasn't burned at stake if they was caught praying to their God. They wasn't damaged like us. They stayed whole. That's why when they come over, they whole.
Right.
We're damaged. We're dysfunctional because any people went through what we went through would be dysfunctional. But the good news is here. We can fix it now. But it's going to take Africa. Because Africa is the richest continent in the world. And they don't need no bailout. They just need a couple good Negroes.
Yeah. There you go.
That's in this room. And if we go there, we won't be Negroes no more.
We gonna be mean.
Because when I was at that national conference, so a sister came up there from Nigeria, billionaire. Right behind her, brother spoke, billionaire. There's money in Africa.
That's right.
Brother told Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz in South Africa a couple months ago, brother, we would give you a diamond mine.
That's right.
They give diamond mines away like our grandmamas used to give us a little plot of land to grow tomatoes on.
Give it to you.
Dr. Collins say Africa's so fertile, if you spit, all will shoot at the ground.
That's right.
It's time, brothers and sisters, for us to stop the slavery. We don't have a slave master no more. The slave master is the block in our mind. Our people are ready to receive us. So you leave here today and make sure every nephew, every niece, every child at Parkland, is it Parkland?
Yes, sir.
Have a passport right when they're born.
Yes, sir.
And whatever you do, you start talking to your preachers about taking trips to Africa. Stop wasting this money on this foolishness. Start bringing your schools to like we used to do. We send our kids to Ghana and they send their kids here.
That's right.
So we won't be such distant cousins. So we understand there's not really that much difference in us. Because if we do this, we're not a poor people. We have resources that we can put together and run this diamond mine with these brothers, head up. Because nobody buy diamonds like us.
Please believe me. Please believe me.
All we got to do is get a diamond to the right people, which is us. And we can't be talking about our athletes and just, do you ever go sit with them? Let me tell you something about athletes, because my brother was a pro football player. Boy, I'll never forget it. When he come out of that shower, he put on his clothes and he coming out of that tunnel and he coming up there, Boy, you have crackers lined up for 2 miles. Hey, Junior, how are you, Junior? We never saw these crackers when we was eating oatmeal. When we were trying to figure out how to kill roaches without rain.
Yes, sir.
Boy, you see so many crackers lined up with gold suitcases. You swear you was born in a white family. Ain't no brothers out there. See, we talk, but we don't go out to that camp. See, these Negroes are not here from you. Every time Dallas Mavericks play a game, they come out of there in them same fancy cars. Boy, you ought to block them cars off. Hold, bro, we got to talk to you.
That's what Brother Collins used to do.
But don't you dare stop him.
That's right.
If you ain't got nothing serious to talk about.
That's right.
That's right.
Why you gonna stop him and waste his time?
That's right.
Get a business plan together that'll work.
Right.
That's right.
Say, look, I went to Ghana, brother. And in Ghana, they got all the gold. I don't know if you know that. But here go a block of it. And they want you to get 5 of your, you know, I mean, you know how they run together in them strip tees and throw that money in there and make it rain?
That's right.
They'll run together to Ghana if you work on them right.
That's right.
But you gotta have some substance.
That's right.
You can't compete with these Jews playing, man.
That's right.
These Jews teach their kids at 12 years old how to handle Michael Jordan. Our kids sitting there trying to buy some Jordan tennis shoes. They trying to design a new Jordan tennis shoe for your kid to buy. We out our mind. Buying a damn $232 tennis shoe and we can't afford shoestrings in the last 6 pair of shoes that we wore out.
That's right.
It's just common sense to get out of slavery. I really want to thank you for your time. And thank you for being so patient.
I know you can give him a better black hand. Let's go on, don't be shy. Let's give him a black hand. That's powerful.
Last thing I forgot. Taiwan, you still filming?
Yes, sir.
September 7th, we're having in Harlem, New York, the 15th anniversary in honor of the great. When I say Dr. Khalid Muhammad great, I meant that. Because I told y'all earlier, I just take 2 more minutes. I told y'all earlier, I thought at Maya, the think tank. And I was bringing different people. And it was getting big. And I was taking my daughter when she was little and my son, and they was meeting everybody. Dr. Delbert Blair out of Chicago, scientists, and they was meeting, and they was getting all this knowledge, and their brothers around Atlanta, and Sister Cheryl Smith and John Wiley Price was doing talkback. One time we did at, what's the black high school right over here? Not Madison. Lincoln. We bought Chromie Touré and H. Ralph Brown at the same time. Then we left there and went over to the lake. What's the brother who used to own RJ by the lake, and we shut it down and brought our late brother. I got a CD in my bus. No, the brother who is Winter in America. Couldn't you imagine listening to H. Ralph Brown and Stokely Carmichael and then leaving there and going, now y'all better tell me the brother's name who wrote his Winter in America.
Gil Scott-Heron.
And then go do it. Now both of them go with you over to a concert with Gil Scott-Heron. That's the kind of stuff we used to do for fun. So when we was doing all this, we were having so much fun. We was getting so much power. But then I invited this guy named Dr. Khalid Muhammad here. And Taiwan videoed it. And man, we was in Fort Worth, Texas, at this shrine. What is it called?
It was the
Masonic Temple.
The Masonic Temple.
Masonic Temple.
It was April 1st, 1994.
Yes, sir.
And boy, I sit there and I watch this man. And boy, I'm tell you, I was just like John. Y'all know about the Jesus story.
Right.
Y'all know when Jesus told him to leave a little net, leave a little fish and come go with me. Carter told me to leave that alone, come go with me. Boy, I went with him. And when he made his spiritual transition in 2001, I took him to his last lecture. It was in Harlem, New York. And I never forget it. And you should have Googled it. It was enough Negro stuff. Revolution is the only solution. And he passed the next week. But I was with him. Matter of fact, I don't think I had him. But I got us at his gravesite. He was that type of, he had that type of power where you just left what you was doing. You don't know where you was at. We in Riverside getting shot.
Right.
We over here doing it. He was so in love with us. and so brilliant and so dedicated and so serious. And the white man went to Senate to try to stop him from talking like me and you because he was eating them alive. Did y'all see the Donahue show?
Mm-hmm.
Talk
Yes,
black to me.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That was him, but you know what he did for that? He got Dr. Ed Simmons. He called Dr. Jeffries. He called Nathan and Julian Harris. He spent weeks getting information together. What do y'all think Donahue gonna ask?
That's right.
He was a team player, man.
That's right.
Somebody had to lead.
Yes, sir.
Somebody had to say, you give your killers bars, stars, and stripes, General MacArthur.
Right.
General, you know, y'all remember what he said.
Right.
Or do I have to remind you?
That's right.
No,
He was a
sir.
brilliant man. We done had so many brilliant ones come. What are we doing with it? I said at the beginning of my lecture, Steve Copley's gone. Dr. John Henry Clark gone. Dr. Amos Wilson gone. Dr. Ed Sims and Miss Sims gone. Dr. Tony Martin out there, he wrote the book from that white college out there in Boston, Wellesley College, gone. God don't let him stay forever. He put it on you. Dr. Collett, gone. They were just here a couple of weeks ago. It seemed like I was just introducing them to the roster.
That's right.
Betty Shabazz, gone. But we here, and we owe them something.
That's right.
So the Million Youth March,
All right.
we're gonna change what I talked about. It ain't the white man's job to display your brilliant children. It's our job. I got a call, and I am closing, because I can go.
Yes, sir.
I got a call, a sister, Muslim sister in the Nation of Islam, Brother Taiwan, raised 7 children by herself. 2 daughters, both of them went to black colleges, I think Howard. 5 sons, all of them went to Morehouse. 4 of them graduated, the 5th one was graduating this year from Morehouse with a master's degree. When the kids graduate early, when they smart like that, they go to Florida.
That's right.
And when white kids go to Florida, they got girls going wild, all that old crazy stuff. This young man smoked some weed somewhere and gets stopped, and they start treating him like he Hitler. They're talking about they ain't gonna let him walk across the street because Obama is there. 4 sons graduated from Morehouse. 2 daughters graduated before him. He's the 7th. That's what we let them do to our kids. White kids, if you come from a family like that, education like that, and you done did what you supposed to do, you done went and smoked your little joint. I ain't saying, my daughter over there, she ain't never seen me smoke a joint, never will.
Nope.
I ain't saying I do that.
Right.
Even if they legalize it, it ain't me. But I'm saying young kids do it, and some of us done it. It ain't the end of the world. You don't stop him from graduating. He graduated 2 months ago. White people protect their babies, man, and fight for them. But we numbed. Malcolm say they give you Novocaine.
That's right.
Where you suffer peaceful.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So the Million Youth March would take a young man like that and his 5 brothers and get them all on that stage and let them speak before the world. We'll take a child from Bermuda, a child from Colombia, a child from South Africa, a child from Nigeria, a child from Baylor, a child from our college that my mentor, and I hope I get to see him before I leave, Dr. Como Cottrell, Paul Quinn College. We'll take a child from your elementary school and a child from your junior high that's doing good. And we're gonna display them before the world and show the world that our youth ain't no damn buffoons and they're not to be played with.
That's right.
We got more PhDs, more bachelors, more master degrees than any other race. And we can't find a job because we ain't got nowhere to hold our kids.
That's right.
So guess what we do? Boy, I think I forgot everything. I had too much,
Take your time.
but I had some good stuff in there. I went to Clark and I snatched the FBI sign and the CIA sign and the IRS sign. They flocked to our schools. What the hell? The Secret Service, the CIA gonna hire somebody black for? Y'all, anybody know what Secret Service do? They travel abroad and they spy. You think they gonna let him come here? You say how dark he is. You think they gonna let him go to China and spy? You think they gonna send him to Japan? You think they sending him to Israel? They sending him to Africa. to spy on his own people. Teach him to destroy his own people. They don't hire us, these federal government don't hire us to bring down the cracker. The only thing bringing down the cracker is another cracker when he get mad at the cracker. Snowden. So we got to stop sending all our most brilliant minds to the federal government. They put a black man in the IRS, he gonna freeze his account. And we already talked about reparations. Ain't damn black man supposed to be paying no damn taxes anyway. Why they got Lauryn Hill locked up? Why is Wesley Snipes just come out of jail? Because both of them was under Dr. York. It's science to that. Where's Dr. York sitting next to Brother Jamil Amin in Denver in a damn cage, and we won't even write him a letter? Black power.
Black power. Let's give him a black head. Before you go, this is only part one. We'll be going to the Doc bookstore. Brothers, this is on behalf of our brother here. He's traveling with Trio Records, Bomb B's group, and we got his son, Lil H. Let's give him a hand, black hand. And little sister, I'm gonna give you this tape. We're talking about friends, Lil Boosie. These are some demos that we got while we were down in Atlanta. And we asking everybody to come to Doc Bookstore tomorrow, and we continue this 2-part series. How many of you like what you see? Let me see. You get a show of hands. Okay.
Brother King, give him a hand.
Black power. Black power.
Brother King talking about Trill Entertainment. I'm traveling with some of our artists right now, but we can just go to the coffee shop somewhere, because I can talk all day, because anytime you bring it up, you bring Dr. Khaled train me.
Yeah,
me and Dr. Khaled is in South Central LA at Marley Gill's place. Marley Gill was one of those revolutionaries. She's still there. She opened a place in South Central LA for black people can learn art. So she'd like Dr. Khaled to come there and speak. Dr. Khaled go there and speak. He take me with him after he steal me from the think tank. And I'm standing there, and Dr. Khaled do one of the most brilliant lectures I ever heard in my life. It's just speechless. And we got Ice Cube, Wesley Snipes, Ice-T, and all these people love Dr. Khaled. They all on the stage. So when Doc get through speeching, he tell me we finna go to an Ice Cube concert.
That's right.
I'm pissed off.
Here go.
Cause Ice Cube straight gangster at that time, crippin', bloodin', and all that.
That's right.
I'm saying, man, you just did this beautiful speech. Why we finna go with that, brother? Why? He said, brother, how many tapes did you sell? I said, man, we sold almost 70 tapes tonight. He said, okay. He said, how many people came? I said, it was sold out. There's 2,200 people in this place. He said, all right. If you don't want to go with me, go to the damn hotel. I said, no, I ain't going to the hotel. Where you going? So we go to Ice Cube concert. It's at the Staples Center. We get back in the VIP, you know, all the stuff we do. We peep out the curtain. Cube, how many Staples Center hold? I don't know, I think 17,000. It sold out? Yeah. So how many CDs did you sell last year, Ice Cube? 10 million? How many we sell, Bryce? 7. Who do we sell them to?
Right.
The same conscious group.
Yeah.
We need Ice Cube group. Now Ice Cube is doing movies. Are we there yet? White people lining up to buy tickets to see it.
Oh boy.
Am I right?
That's right.
Doc was brilliant. Doc took on with Tupac, and if you get Tupac last song, Machiavelli, the white man world, Doc is on it. He was on Ice Cube talking about white cave. What did he say, Taiwan?
White cave, bitch.
That's right.
What did he say?
Hey, white cave, bitch.
He infiltrated these 10 million and 17,000 and put a word out there.
Right.
So he taught me how to get on Pimp C, and Pimp C say, in Big Pimpin' with Jay-Z, no record till Whitey pay me. And it's a Jew-owned Jive Entertainment. Buried a white Jew from South Africa.
That's right.
He went crazy when that came out. We did that single-handedly, me and Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz. So we got to get in here with these brothers calling our queens B's and H's, and you can't stare across the street and throw rocks. You got to get up under them and say, brother, why don't you say Marcus Garvey said,
That's right.
red, black. Get in there. They steal our children. The Jews love them. You ain't gonna never see the Jews at their house. You ain't gonna never see the Jews at the club with them. But the Jews love him. They just meet him at the bank, get them their 2%, and Jews get 98%. Jews don't write no song. Jews don't make no beat. Jews don't perform on no stage. Jews don't ride on no tour bus. Jews don't even ride on the planes with them. Why we gotta get my money?
That's right.
Last story. Arthur Blank. Tell I mentioned Michael Vick.
That's right.
Arthur Blank owns Home Depot, owns Atlanta Falcons. He thought it was such a tragedy that Michael Vick was fighting dogs. Some crackers been doing, they've been fighting roosters and dogs all their life.
Right.
They be fighting their mamas.
Right.
These people don't have no conscience. But this man, talking about, I invited Mike to my house. Mike, at that time, had signed the highest contract in NFL history, but he wouldn't take his cornrows out of his hair. He wouldn't talk like they wanted him to talk. He still walked with that little walk. And they said, dang, we getting this nigga all this money, we still can't. He stayed with his same boys. He just wouldn't change. So he built the dome that the Falcons play in. Y'all used to wipe Michael Vick.
That's right.
Then this cracker, you feel me?
Yes, sir.
This cracker had the audacity to talk about Michael Vick ate at my house. If you want to impress me, let Brother Keem eat at your house.
Right.
Let Brother DK eat at your house.
Me too.
Right.
Both of them. We always hungry.
No, then we be back like Malcolm. Won't nothing be on our plate. We'll be dining, but we won't be eating. But look what he did, man. And y'all check, especially you, Queen. Check the record, y'all young people. Where did he take the call that Michael Vick got busted with the dogs? He was in Kenya, Africa. Why? Because he became president of the Chamber of Commerce in Atlanta, and he wanted to rebuild the aquarium, rebuild Coke, rebuild the zoo, rebuild Centennial Park, and back to the zoo. Can you buy a giraffe in Arkansas?
No, sir.
Can you get a hippopotamus out of Dallas?
No, sir.
Do you see rhinos crossing the street in Louisiana?
No, sir.
You got to go to Africa.
That's right.
You can't even get a zebra out of America. So that cracker over in Kenya buying animals.
That's right.
Why you on the phone talking about Michael Vick? And them animals were just like the slaves. When they take that voyage from Africa to America, them animals travel thousands of miles a day.
Same route.
When you get that ship to the port, they got big bulldozers and big grinding machines waiting, because 30% of the animals die. And so they just bulldoze them into a grinder and sell them to the dog food companies. You killing exotic animals while you talking about Michael Vick. You're a hypocrite, and you're the devil and God ain't with you.
Right.
Stop listening to this white man.
And then I'll give a black hand to Brother Taiwan, our honorary chairman from Fort Worth, who's doing the simulcast tonight. Let's give him a black hand.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for coming. The brother's going to do a round